August 18th, 2012,
December 1st,
June 15th, 1991.
Was the scariest night.
Was the scariest night.
The scariest night.
Was the scariest night.
Was the scariest night of my life.
There was something different in this house. Someone was actually watching me.
They seemed to see something that I wasn't able to see.
A human-like shadow walking through our kitchen.
I'm really scared.
It was very scary. I had no idea who these people were. I knew they didn't belong.
When I was 10 years old, my family purchased a home. It was a big house in Cleveland, Ohio.
What you think, huh?
We were all excited about it. We were just a normal family. Buying this home, it was the American dream that we were all living for.
Nice one there. You're gonna love it.
There was something different in this house. I remember having a negative vibe. I felt very, very uncomfortable. It was like someone was actually watching me. I brought it up to my parents.
Carlos? What do you think, huh?
It's kind of creepy.
What? Creepy?
For the most part, they would always listen to me, but at this point, they really didn't want to hear that. I just kind of went on with my day and was just thinking that something's wrong. I knew what I was feeling inside. There was something different. Later that night, we were all settled down in the living room. We're just watching TV. And I felt something. And I see this dark shadow. I got out of my chair and I walked towards the kitchen door. I was trying to be cautious about it because I wasn't sure if there was a person walking through our house or what. My mom asked me, "What are you looking at?" And that's when I turned around. I told him I seen somebody walking through the kitchen.
There's someone in the kitchen.
She looked.
Is there one here?
And she said there was nobody in the kitchen.
Watch the show. Come on.
She probably just thought I was seeing things. It was my imagination. I was dumbfounded. I couldn't figure out what it was. I knew it wasn't my imagination, though. I started feeling another negative vibe. You know that feeling when the hair on your neck stands up? And there it was again. That's when fear started building up inside me. I know I seen a human-like shadow walking through our kitchen.
There's someone in the kitchen. There's someone in the kitchen.
It was blacker than black. You couldn't tell any facial features. It was just black.
Someone in the kitchen.
My mom got up. She walked over to the kitchen.
There's nothing here.
She just told me there's nobody there, you know, just relax. There's nobody in this house except for us three. I was scared. I'm seeing something that nobody else is seeing walking around our house. They probably just thought I was having fear of being in a new home. But I knew that was real. That's when I went to bed. I was a little shook up because of what I seen. I was kind of on edge because I know what I seen was real. It was around midnight. I woke up and I had to use the restroom. I was scared to leave my room. When I got up, I was looking around to make sure the coast was clear. I avoided the area where I saw the shadow man. So I walked around the kitchen and went to the restroom. As I was in the bathroom, you know, my whole thought, I didn't want to come across this shadow man. And the whole time I was thinking, I got to make it back to my room. When I came out, I figured I would make a run for it past the area where I saw the shadow man. And I see this dark shadow walking through our kitchen. That's when fear started building up inside me. I woke up and went to the restroom. I didn't want to come across this shadow man. I figured I would make a run for it past the kitchen. I felt this force, like someone just pushed me in the back. It was powerful. I slammed into the oven, and I actually put a dent into the side of the oven where I hit it. I started crying. I was shook up. I started screaming. My mom came running out.
What?
And I told her that someone pushed me. She told me nobody pushed me. I probably just slipped and fell. I know I felt two hands push me. She got a towel and put it on my head, and I had a little lump on my head. I told her that there's something in this house. They told me that things will settle down, I'll get used to it.
Having a bad dream?
I had a feeling that they believed me, but they were trying to ignore it because, you know, it's a new house and they wanted to settle in.
It's okay, sweetie. It's okay.
They were trying to tell me I'm gonna get used to this house. My mom takes me back to the bedroom. She told me to pray, and we pray.
My kingdom come. I will be
As I was
done
praying,
on
I felt a little more comfortable because she was with me saying the prayer and believing that
trespassers.
someone's gonna watch over me.
Great. Get you all tucked in again,
She lays me down and tucks me in, and she told me good night and gave me a kiss and left the room.
okay? Good night, sweetie.
As I was laying there after my mom left, I felt scared. I thought for sure that this thing's gonna come after me again. You know, I wasn't sure when or how, but I had this weird feeling that something may happen again. It was about 2 in the morning. I was laying in bed, and I happened to look. And in the doorway, there's a silhouette of a man standing there. It was darker than dark, no facial features, almost like he had a top hat on, just standing there swaying back and forth. Looking at me. I was terrified. I didn't know what to do because I was trapped in this bedroom. If I screamed, would it make it mad? I didn't know. I did not want to look at it. So I pulled the sheets up by my eyes. I was just hoping to God that this thing would just disappear. As I pulled the sheet down, he was moving slowly into the room. I was petrified. I turned to my side a little bit, and the next thing I know, there's this full force of pressure that jumps on my back, and it grabs me by my neck and like shoves my face into the pillow. As it was holding me down, I had a hard time breathing. I thought I was gonna suffocate. And it's holding me down. I couldn't even move. It's almost like I was paralyzed for a second. That's how strong this thing was holding me down. It felt like someone just threw a car on top of me. You could feel the breath just hitting your face. And it started speaking in this language I didn't understand. The sound was like a demonic voice of pure evil. The only thing I could think of doing was to pray. I felt this force. It was powerful. In the doorway, there's a silhouette of a man standing there. I was just hoping to God that this thing would just disappear. It started speaking in this language I didn't understand. I started to pray. Our Father, who art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. I was hoping that God would save me from this thing because I felt like I was gonna die that night. I thought that was it. I started to cry. I wanted to yell, but I couldn't. And it's still breathing real heavy. It was like hot breath in my ear. Every time I think of what it said, you know, every hair on my body stands up. The only words I understood was, God won't save you. I didn't think it was gonna let go. He released me. I think my faith was a little stronger than what it was. Maybe God was there to protect me.
Mom! Dad, help! Mom!
I started screaming for my mom and dad.
Mom! Dad, help! Mom! Mom!
Listen, what did Carla make?
They came running in.
What happened?
The shadow man.
I told them what happened.
Right here with you.
I had a few red marks around my neck. You could see a handprint.
It's okay, sweetheart. Your neck. What happened?
My legs are burning!
I felt this burning sensation on my leg. And they pulled the blanket off me.
Oh, God.
Sweetie, it's okay.
You could see scratch marks going down the side of my legs, which many believe is the sign of the devil.
We're here now.
When my mom seen the marks, I think she knew at that moment that I wasn't making this up. Something was happening in this home.
It's okay, it's okay, it's okay. It's okay. It's okay, it's okay, darling. It's okay. It's okay.
And that was the scariest night of my life. My parents were good friends with the priest from the school that I was going to, and they did have the house blessed. Things did start to settle down, but in my mind, it didn't matter what they did. I was still petrified to be in that house. I've never felt comfortable being in that house. I always thought, you know, anytime that I'd be there, that this thing would target me again. It didn't matter what age I was just terrified being there. Later in years, I was talking to a friend of mine, out of nowhere. He goes, "Do you know a man hung himself in your basement?" And I was like, "No, I didn't know nothing about that." And he goes, "Yeah, my dad knew him. I guess he had some issues and he hung himself down from that beam in the basement." And I did a little research. I found out a man did really hang himself in the basement of that house. And I believe it's his negative presence that was there.
my niece, Emma, was coming to spend the night with me. I was pretty excited about Emma coming over because she'd never been to this house.
Bye, Mom.
I thought this whole house would be so much fun for her. In 1996, I moved into my house. I loved it from the moment I walked in the door. It just felt warm. It was pretty amazing, really. The house was built in 1916, and it had a lot of character, but it wasn't well maintained. It needed a lot of work. I painted every room in the house. I chose all of the colors, got it all just ready for me, how I would like it. I was feeling very good in this house. My little nest. Emma seemed to like the house. She was more interested in my cats. I had 2 cats at the time. One was named Abba. The other was named Rafi. Shortly after I moved in, the cats seemed restless. I thought that maybe they were just a little nervous about the new place. But I noticed that they were looking off into the ceiling or standing looking at the wall. They seemed to see something that I wasn't able to see.
Come on, it's gonna be a great night. Just you and me.
I'm very close to Emma.
And some television.
Always have been. She's my little sweetheart. We went to watch TV. As time went by, she became a little bit agitated.
Why the gloomy face?
I don't know. I just don't feel right.
I know what we need. Popcorn.
I was making the popcorn and putting our little drinks together. Emma came into the kitchen. She was out of sorts.
What's the matter?
There seemed to be a problem that I didn't understand.
I'm really scared.
I asked Emma if she was okay, and she said she was frightened, but couldn't really say why.
I'm just really, really scared. Something doesn't feel right.
Emma told me that she didn't like the house. I thought maybe she was feeling homesick. I just tried to make it fun.
You gotta be punished for not carrying your shot record on you. It's a fate far worse than death.
We went back to watch TV. It was time for Emma to go to sleep. I tried to get Emma to sleep. She did not want to be in the house. I tried to make her feel that she had nothing to worry about. I thought that Emma's imagination was causing her to feel uncomfortable.
I know it's an old house, but it's just your imagination.
I wasn't sure, but whatever it was.
Come on, let's have a story. It's hard to marry.
She was exhausted and needed to sleep. After I read Emma a book, probably halfway through, she fell asleep. I stayed in her room with her for quite a while. I was concerned that she would wake up and become upset again. I found that I was looking around concerned that she had good reason to be upset. I couldn't explain it. I couldn't see anything. But I did feel that something was watching me. I was totally exhausted. I went to bed too. I was tossing and turning in that half awake, half asleep state. I was dreaming that I was at a party, but I'd fallen asleep and the party was continuing around me. But then slowly I realized that it was actually coming from my house. I was pretty excited about Emma coming over. She's my little sweetheart. Something was watching me. I was dreaming that I was at a party, but I'd fallen asleep and the party was continuing around me. But then slowly I realized that it was actually coming from my house. It sounded like there was a party going on in the kitchen. There were glasses clinking. There were people laughing. I heard a man's voice say,
"She really likes it here."
And they all started laughing again. They were referring to me like I was part of their lives. It was very scary. My cats, who always sleep with me, their ears were back, their eyes were bulged out. They were very scared. Emma was afraid of something, and my cats were afraid of something. There was something in the house. The first thing on my mind was Emma. I went to check on her. She seemed to be asleep. But I could hear the laughter and the glasses clinking together. The volume didn't seem to change. I needed to go downstairs to the kitchen to see what was going on. I had no idea who these people were. All I knew was I knew they didn't belong. Were there people in my house? Had they broken in? As I was approaching the bottom of the stairs, I realized I wasn't hearing any sound from the kitchen any longer. I knew that I heard voices, but there was nothing there. The cat toys were all arranged in a circle, in a perfect circle. I know that Emma didn't do it because I was with her the entire time. The cats were on the bed with me the whole time, and they couldn't possibly have made a circle that perfectly. I was finding that everything was just too strange. I had no idea what was going on. I was very, very frightened. I went through the entire house. I even went down to the basement. Checked the windows. They were all closed and locked. There was no sign of a break-in. Nothing was making sense. Emma was okay. The doors and windows were locked. I just went back to bed. I started to think that maybe I was imagining it. I finally drifted off to sleep. heard noises. I was awake in a flash. I'll never forget it. It was 5:36. I could hear some creaking at the top of the stairs. There was something walking outside my door of my bedroom. Emma was just standing there at the top of the stairs. I was calling her.
Emma, it's Auntie Sandy. Emma.
She didn't acknowledge me at all. Something was telling me that it wasn't Emma. There was a party going on in the kitchen. I knew they didn't belong.
Emma?
Emma was just standing there. Something was telling me that it wasn't Emma. I didn't want to startle her.
Emma?
It was very odd that she was just standing there. She looked like Emma, same blonde, curly hair and blue nightgown, but I couldn't see her face. I was softly calling her, Auntie Sandy is right here, Emma.
Emma, I'm right behind you.
Auntie Sandy is right here, Emma. I'm right here behind you. But she didn't respond.
Emma, it's Auntie Sandy.
And she took a step down the stairs. I was concerned that Emma was sleepwalking and she was gonna fall. I put my hands out to steady her. I felt my hands go straight through her. There was nothing, it was just cold. At that moment, I realized this was a ghost. I thought I was living in a nightmare. I closed my eyes and quickly opened them. The little girl was still there, still going down the stairs.
Emma, it's Auntie Sandy. I'm right behind you.
She turned to look up at me. There was no face. There was just no face. Everything about it looked like Emma. It was like it had stolen her identity. This was not a human being. The cats scurried down the stairs on either side of the ghost. They hissed at the ghost. Their ears were back, their eyes were bulged out. They were on a mission to get that thing out of their domain. She disappeared. I didn't know what to think. Who was that little girl? And why did she look identical to Emma? When the ghost disappeared, I wanted to make sure that Emma was still there. I immediately ran to her bedroom. Emma was still asleep. All I wanted to do was scoop Emma up and run screaming from the house. But if I was going to do that, that would mean going back downstairs, and there was simply no way I was going to do that. I stayed in her room all night, curled up right beside her. I don't know if I slept a wink that night. And that was the scariest night of my life. I had never believed in ghosts or spirits, the paranormal. I had never had any reason to, and I'd heard stories from other people, and I admit I probably rolled my eyes. I believe that Emma knew something was going on, something that I didn't see. A neighbor mentioned to me that when she was a child, her and her friends would walk across the street rather than walk in front of our house. They always felt that my house was haunted. I never found out who this ghost was. After that day, I never saw that girl ghost again. I heard squeaks on the stairs, but I never saw her again.